Hello, you're watching Lichers and Witches, and this is Catching Up with Guy. Stay tuned. So Guy, thank you for joining me, and we're going to have a long discussion about all the characters you've managed to kill off. So thank you for watching, and this is Catching Up with Guy, a supplement to the Catching Up with the Ragtag Bunch. This is interview number 2. Previously we interviewed Adam and his characters from session 1 all the way up to up to session 37, which we actually recorded Monday just gone. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through Guy's characters all the way up to session 37, and get some background info and see how it all goes. So
you're doing this in order of like who's had the most deaths. So
believe it or not, it's ended that way.
Yeah.
So Adam's got the most deaths, then it's you.
It's me.
I think we're going to have sit Jay, Ryan and Rez all in the one sofa.
Just catch them all on that sofa that's over there.
Yeah, I'll sit there, it'd be brilliant. Okay, so let's have to chat about yourself. So when it comes to kind of tabletop RPGs, you've played quite a lot.
Yeah.
You can just briefly go through the massive amount.
I started the whole like tabletop stuff when I was at the end of senior school, King's Manor, that we went to. At the end of there, because it was just some friends on Friday night. I was like, oh, let's try this D&D thing, and it's basically a rip-off of D&D where they'd taken all the stats and like how you are and characters, but they based it in space because they wanted to make the whole own thing.
Okay.
So it was in space, and it was a god awful. Like looking back on it now, it was a god awful campaign. The best way to describe it is like a space marine. That's what I was. I was a big, bulky dude that had ridiculous strength, and I hit stuff good.
That's very different to your current characters, to be honest.
So there weren't any like classes necessarily because they're trying to add in like their own psionics and everything. Yeah. But I think it was a good laugh. The campaign wasn't good, but it was a laugh with friends. So I think me and one other person, in the middle of like this derelict spaceship where we're being hunted by the equivalent of xenomorphs, decided to take a massive candy floss machine that took both of us with both hands to carry. So while we're being chased by these murder machines,
you were going after
we're running with the candy floss machine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that stupid childish thing that we were doing. But since then I've played more tabletops. So I've gone to like MERP, which is Middle Earth role playing. I've played Warhammer tabletops, that would be the fantasy system. I've played a bit of Call of Cthulhu. Trying to think of all the other ones. Playing Traveller at the moment. Where 80s sci-fi. Playing D&D. Trying to think of all the other ones. I do actual like live action role playing.
Oh yes.
So I dress up and hit people with weapons.
Yeah.
Or just shout fireball with someone, they should fall over.
Yeah.
Fall over, that kills you.
Have you not got beanbags or anything you can throw?
So in our LARP system, I do 2 separate LARPs. I've got the one that I do with a much smaller group, but it's more often, and I've got Empire.
That's the big one.
That's the massive event that we have like 4 times a year.
Oh wow.
But the more frequent ones are every other weekend. And in that one, it's assumed if a spell like a firebolt is being aimed at someone, it's gonna hit. It goes too quick for you to dodge it, and then it means that if there's anyone who's just shit at throwing, you're not penalised for being a crap throw.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you can just go, firebolt, that's X amount of damage. The way to counterbalance it to make it so mages aren't horrendously gross is like as mages you can't wear metal armour, because there's something that how the magic works is if you have anything that's metal that's bigger than a dagger, you blow up.
Okay.
So this stops mages wearing like full plate, shield, sword, and then casting the big like mega spells, and then second monster tries, I'm going to run at you. They go, yeah, you can't because I'm kitted out like a knight.
Okay, fair. So interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I've listed MERP.
Traveller, Call of Cthulhu.
Victoriana!
Victoriana, yes. This is the one I remember you telling me about, where you get XP for intrigue and talking to people.
Yeah, so it's based less on the combat and more of the investigation, more Sherlock Holmes, because it's based in Victorian London. So, you've got your social standings. So you got the high class, middle class, low class, and depending on what you do is depending on really if you're allowed to do it because of your social situation. So, for example, if you're a low class scumbag, if you try walking down the wrong road, you can get arrested for that because you don't belong there. While if you're the high class, you can get away with murder, quite literally.
Oh my god, that's amazing. And that's a rolled thing, or is it part of a backstory?
You can choose what you have as a startup. So the reason is why you go, everyone should be high class. You get less skill points if you're high class. So the higher your social standing is, the less skill points you've got to put into your skills.
Clever.
Because then it shows that you have a more pampered life.
Yeah.
But I think my favourite thing that's happened in Victoriana is a tea party. Because we were given handouts. If you had the skill etiquette, you were given a handout to read before the tea party. When we came to the tea party, you had to hand it back.
Amazing.
And then you had to remember everything, so you had to all perform proper etiquette for the entire tea party. So this is how I know that if you have milk in your tea, you don't have a slice of lime. And milk is also more of a French thing as opposed to an English thing where you have lime, no sugar, lime, not lime, lemon, lemon in it.
It's the Earl Grey.
Yeah, the Earl Grey style. And if you were to stir, cannot touch the sides, has to be in the middle, and you swish it back and forth, back and forth.
That knowledge is going to stay with you. That knowledge is now going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And do you actually drink tea?
I do drink tea, but I absolutely butcher it when I go.
Okay.
Tea bag, milk, sugar, done.
Yeah, fair. Okay. But at least you know not to touch the sides with your spoon.
Yeah, not touch the sides of your spoon, and when to eat and when it's okay to eat, and move on to the next thing in the tea party.
Oh my god, that's just awful.
The thing is, if you do get into combat in Victoria, it's also very brutal.
Oh, okay.
Where it's one hit tends to kill most things. It works both ways.
Oh, so the main thing is just not getting hit.
Yeah, because you're wearing a coat, and someone's shooting a pistol into you. You go,
Jesus,
I'm dead.
Oh god. Fair. Okay, fair enough then. Okay, so you've played 4 characters in the Ragtag Bunch. Most of them sadly departed closer to the start of the campaign.
One was a hero. We'll get back to him. But your current character, Ansem, has been with the party for quite some time, and you've made some close friendships. So what we do is we're going to go through each of the characters, one by one, from session 1 all the way up to session 37, and we'll see, and you'll tell us how your character evolves. So, first one's off. Session 1 is Drakath. So Drakath, your first character, the crazy human mystic, if that's right. Mystic, yeah.
Please, obviously, tell the viewers the background of Drakath and why you went with such an interesting character for the starter.
The idea was he was a hermit that was based in the mountains. I think very Doctor Strangey, where isolated from the human world, the rest of the world, and it was just female master, a human young apprentice. The master was a dragonborn though. I just remembered that. And the thing is, I went for the mystic because it seemed, I read some things online and I was like, oh my god, mystic sounds actually really cool. It's a really, and you go by the name mystic. Mystic just sounds cool. It sounds cool by the name. And
definitely.
You spellcaster and you go, that's cool. And I had a quick read of it, and it's really versatile. So no 2 mystics would ever be the same. That was the problem I had with it, though. It was just so much there that you had to try and take in. You're never going to remember it all. It's like a wizard on steroids.
You do have your kind of little prep book to go through each time to kind of keep making sure you're making the right decision, sort of thing.
Because you had the massive list of your own psionics as well. So like all the spells, they're fresh spells and new stuff. So you're not going to just go, I'm going to do Fireball. Because,
we did love your main psionic ability.
Oh, Mind Thrust.
Mind Thrust. You did Mind Thrust a lot of goblins from session 1 to session 3.
Yeah, well, that was my problem. That's basically the only thing I could do. Was Mind Thrust. So, yeah, I could do a bigger spell, but they're a bit redundant where I can just Mind Thrust them a lot. I mean, that sounds really wrong now. But, but it was like doing D10.
It was a powerful spell.
Psychic, yeah.
It was a powerful spell. You had your up to quite a high max, but
it was your wisdom based. So you had to make a save. If you did, then it was just straight D10. So I didn't even have to roll damage for it.
Nope.
Because I'm pretty sure my stats were a bit shite.
Honestly, I think that I've kept all the sheets as much as I can, and they should be in the bookcase over there. So, session 1 then, the Sleepy Town of Amberglade. Your character was in the marketplace, and you agreed to go on the quest to go and save Drusilla Fineleaf, the mayor's daughter, essentially. So Drakath met 5 other new friends, and you played. I remember you playing Drakath as very friendly. Wants to meet everyone, wants to say hi and become friends with everyone.
So I was playing him as a very naive person, because I think his intelligence was quite high, but his wisdom was incredibly low. If I remember right. So it was the whole naive, I've been isolated from the world. I've not quite known that there are people that are just scumbags that would backstab you in a heartbeat. A drow elf is just a darker elf. That's cool. He's an elf. Just because he's got a different skin tone doesn't mean he's going to stab me in the back. It's that naivety. So when I met everyone, I was like, oh hey, we're all doing the same thing. We all must be those pinnacle justice type people. We're all nice. And
then Drogon uses Thunderwave in front of everybody. That's fair. So when so you got up to you found Drusilla Fineleaf being captured.
The traps.
Yeah, well, you hit the traps. You killed the goblin sorcerer that was captured Drusilla Fineleaf. You found the secret room, and then you got impaled through the foot by trap. And this kind of set off a curse of you setting traps, I think.
Yeah, I basically like the trap finder. We don't have a rogue for a reason. I have a trap finder.
You just walk into the traps. So Drakath ended up with the Sword of Denier.
I don't know why. I couldn't use weapons.
No.
Simple or martial. I'm just going to go, well, they've given me the Sword of Denier. Because no one else wanted it. I was like, well, I guess I'm having it then?
Yeah, and it was a standard sword. It just, you could cast Zone of Truth, I think once a day with it. But no one wanted it. Zone of Truth is useful. But yeah, so you, session 2, Drakath went with the party back to Amberglade. You fought a spider. Handed over Drusilla. There was an altercation between Drogon and Mayor Fineleaf and Marion Poscath, where he was holding a dagger to her and all this stuff.
He was earning a reputation for himself quite early on, wasn't he?
What was Drakath's kind of now view of his friends? You were fighting with them. You spent probably about 4 or 5 days in game with them. And obviously this moment was a definite kind of eye-opener for all the characters to kind of realise who they're with. What was Drakath's kind of thoughts?
Going back to the whole naivety of it, I just thought this was like the custom. People do this all the time, clearly, because no one's freaked out enough to try and kill him.
Yeah.
Okay, so friendly banter?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know how much. I knew nothing of Drogon, so I didn't know if he knew these people. Are they total strangers to him? Is it his sister that he's just beating up? I don't know.
Fair enough. Session 3 was the Erebos and Drogon own episode, where they did a few things around Amberglade itself, and then went south to Marathon because they heard that several trading ships have been attacked by a strange kind of ghost ship, and also Drogon was given a mission by Drusilla to go and find a tome, and the person who knew where the tome was the court wizard of Dusk Cove, the main capital of the neighbouring province. Now, the court wizard was a bit of a recluse in his tower and didn't like company. However, he had a friend who was a captain on a ship and was supposed to be at Marathon, and that's why kind of the group went to Marathon on session 3. So session 4, this is where you had a new character because you didn't feel like you wanted to stay with Drakath. So what was the reason for actually not wanting to continue with Drakath?
So, as I was saying, like, the problem with Drakath, and it was literally, it was just the mystic class, where I was still quite new to the whole concept of the mystic, and trying to jump into a campaign where everyone is already knowing what they're doing. I felt like I was being the slow one, doing anything, going, I think I can do something, or I was just missing out on abilities and stuff that I could have done. So it was just too complex at the time.
Fair.
Like, because I've obviously been going through several different systems of tabletop, which I run quite consistently, so I most of my week is spent on tabletops.
Yeah.
It'll be varying weeks, but so going with something that is just absolutely mind-boggling, going, what does this spell do again? Or what's my feature? I'm part of this clan, I'm doing something. I couldn't keep up with it. And before then, we'd played the Resurgence slot, and I remembered what I enjoyed most about that, and I was like, well, I'm going to try and see if I can bring that over then to this one, and just put my own flair in it. Which brings us to
Grimrok. So yes, this is a guy's second character, Grimrok. So with Grimrok then, we had Drakath's retirement from the party. Essentially, he disappeared. He walked off. That's how we captioned it. Though on session 4, session 3 previously, Drogon and Erebos had met with a captain, and Captain Harkond, if I remember correctly. It might be Captain Greygar. I honestly can't remember actually, but it was the captain of the Artemis either way. And the Artemis was a ship that was obviously coming through on the trading route that was being attacked by this ghost ship, and they came through, being attacked. They were damaged, and you had this new character that you wanted to play, Grimrok. So and we essentially made him the first mate of this ship. It was a great way to kind of bring it together. So can you go through Grimrok and who he is, what he is, and why you decided to play this character?
So Grimrok was a bugbear barbarian. He was basically my own way of creating a character that was given to me in the previous campaign. We were doing Resurgence, where you'd given me a half-orc barbarian called Shump, and I love Shump, and she was a great character to play as, but it wasn't my own character. But I loved playing it. You just go being that sneak attack where you run at them screaming rage. Yeah,
that was fun. Sadly, that was your demise of Shump, but it was a great one.
But I wanted to bring that the Shump feel with my own flair to it, which was the Grimrok. Grimrok, I just picture him as a quite thick but loyal person.
So, very much like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of played you and the captain. He was Han Solo, and you were his Chewie. So he was a barbarian, wasn't he? And he was...
I ended up going down Path of the Zeal.
The Zealot?
Yeah.
Path of the Zealot, yeah. Yes, because obviously Erebos is the same.
Yeah.
So I remember this was kind of amusement.
It was quite funny, because we ended up doing this little yin-yang thing where he went for the whole radiant time, I went for the whole necrotic side of it. So we were doing... It was literally we were just two sides of the same coin. I think I was a little bit stronger and higher though. Not flexing much, but boom.
Well, he was a Goliath, but you were a bugbear. So,
long arms.
Session 4 then was the Undead Buccaneers episode, and that's when you went back onto your ship with this new party, who your captain had invited on to go and help deal with the ghostly menace. You dealt with some sea spawns, so you fought with the party for a while and got to understand them, and you then dealt with the ghostly visage of a beautiful elven opera singer, who, when antagonized, I can't know the word.
Aggroed?
Yeah, aggroed, basically, by Johnny, who was playing Dick Littleworth.
Yeah.
With I think it was a crossbow bolt, I think he shot at her. You all basically fought the Spectre and her weird undead minions. What was kind of Grimrock's feelings towards the party? How did you feel about these people coming onto your ship and then kind of leading you?
They were in my way.
Yeah?
Yeah, Grimrock is very one track mind. It's like, oh, we're doing this. I'm in my fucking way. I need to move, you midget. I gotta hit this thing.
Fair.
It's breaking my ship.
Very, very fair. And in the end, it did break the ship. Essentially, they shipwrecked the Artemis against the jagged rocks of the coast. They met up with the other ship that had gone missing, the captain, in which Drogon was actually looking for to gain an audience with the core wizard in Dusk Cove. And then you fought Mysterios, the recurring bad guy in our series. Session 37 is the latest episode he's recurred in, who's been a plague on our party since episode 4.
That was the first time Grimrock died.
Mm-hmm.
That was from a thunder wave. Now,
Drogon's own thunder wave. He got thrown 10 feet, as I recall.
Because I think I'd entered Rage, got my sneak attack on him because bugbear, and I think that's it. He'd hit me. He hit me first and done a lot of damage, and then I hit him and did the exact same amount of damage back to him. So it was that kind of. Because we were still quite low level, so when people hit like to 20, 30 points of damage...
That's your whole you're completely out.
Yeah. So when I go, shit, that's near my entire health pool, alright, well, I got hit him back, and I roll near enough the exact same amount, you go, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
That was really well.
Yeah.
Drogon thunder waved me, I fell unconscious, failed 2 of my 3 death saves, and then someone stabilised me.
Yeah, I can't remember, I think it was...
It was Dick. Dick saved me.
Yes, he did. Yeah, because we were making the joke that he had to climb on top of your stomach because he was playing a halfling, and he had to jump up and down to do CPR. I remember that. Also, he killed his mouse because he also got thrown back and landed on it. So that was... So Session 4 was fighting the Spectre, the Undead Buccaneers. Session 5 was dealing with Mysterios. Mysterios died from being impaled from that thunder wave. Died from being impaled. You then saw the weird Kraken priest out to sea.
I flipped him the bird.
You flipped him the bird, yeah. And then you started climbing up the cliffs.
Yes.
And you fought the 2 harpies.
I wanted to make babies with them, if I remember right.
Yeah, you got their eggs, I think, and then I think
didn't.
that was
did.
Dick. Got their eggs, and I think he ate them.
I jumped off the cliff after one because I was going to grab her and make babies with her before I hit the floor, hopefully.
Yes, I do remember this.
Just so everyone knows, I missed.
You did, and luckily Meepo's featherfall helped.
Yeah.
You not to die. Then you found the weird token, the weird rune.
Yes.
On the edge of the cliff with Drogon. They kind of took that from the sailors, the 2 crews that were with you, kind of up the cliffs. And then you got to the edges of Black Vault with Drogon, Erebos, Meepo and Dick, and then it was an episode with just Ryan, Rez, and Johnny, Erebos, Drogon, and Dick, and basically it was the episode where Drogon got to the pinnacle of his kind of evilness.
This is where he killed the horse.
And he killed the horse master and his horse.
It was me, not Ryan. That was there.
It was you. Yeah. Oh, of course it was, because you threw...
yes.
So Yes, you're absolutely right, and I probably have to change that in the Ragtag Bunch. Catch up, but yeah. So for session 6 then in Black Vault, Drogon had just killed the Horsemaster. Drogon killed him because he was unhappy about the prices, and the horse was whinnying, and he couldn't get its saddle on, so he killed the horse, and he got the attraction. He attracted basically the guards, and he started getting run down. So you had the altercation back in Amberglade, where he was kind of I would say negotiating is the right word, but now he had just killed an innocent person.
So before then, I hadn't met him, and as Grimrok, when I first met him, he's a puffer because he's an elf.
Fair.
Then when he was just doing the Drogon, I think he's a prick, really, isn't he?
Poor Drogon.
No, he doesn't paint a good picture for himself, and Grimrock's very much
what's on the can.
Yeah, he's basically he sees it and calls it as it is.
Fair.
He just goes, "You're a bit of a prick, aren't you?"
Fair. Then the party ran from Black Vault eastwards towards Dusk Cove. You were pursued by the guards on horseback. They caught up to you. You managed to fight them off and kill them.
Drogon did on his own.
Dick helped a little bit though, didn't he? Oh no, Drogon used Thunderwave.
And then Drogon used Thunderwave and killed everything.
Yeah, it was very good rolls, I'm not going to lie, against guards. And a captain. Then, so that's session... So, I'm trying to remember now. So session 5 was Mysterious, session 6 was Black Vault and the captain, and then session 7 was heading towards Parsa Knoll, but Drogon then got picked up by Melvor, and that was the episode with Erebos, not yourself.
Well, and myself.
Was it you there?
Yeah, it was just me. It was me, Erebos, and Drogon.
Yes, yeah, and you've obviously had Melvor. So
because we had that awkward situation where Drogon's bleeding out, and
he was like, "Come, yeah."
We were the villains, and I'm like, no, you're the villains.
Yeah, I do
you're
remember
the baddies because you attacked us.
I think there's a video of that somewhere actually on Facebook.
Well, it was that awkward situation where you hit us first. Yeah, but you're the bad people. Nah, you hit us first.
Are we the baddies? Yeah.
We're not the baddies. We're not the baddies, right?
It says walking around with a murderer.
And?
So what happens is Melvor was part of a kind of a band of vagabonds that was led by a person called Brand, or Brandolin. And he was sent to go and find this person. Basically, a message boy had run to her telling that this person had just killed a person from their town, and obviously Brand's band were going to sort it out. So Melvor and some people had attacked Drogon and Grimrok and Erebos obviously on their way to Parsa Knoll, which is the last village before Dusk Cove Province. Melvor then basically subdued Drogon and said, "Look, you are obviously, we've got nothing against you. It's him that we're coming to basically taking away to deal with justice. Obviously, let justice deal with him. You're more welcome to join. You're more welcome to come join us and join our band."
At that point, we'd actually fuck each other up quite a bit. Because I know we'd killed one of them, at least one of them.
Killed one of them, and I think, but he obviously started doing a lot of damage to you because he was very strong.
Erebos was the one picking off the weaker ones. I was, that brave man who was soloing one-on-one. I think he disarmed me actually, quite early on.
Yeah, something like that.
And I called a timeout at that point so I could get my weapon.
Yeah.
And he just went, "Okay then, I guess," because disarmed me and I went, "Timeout." Went over, picked up one, came back, "Oh, I'm ready."
Yeah, it was a very weird role play. I'm not gonna lie. It was well fun though. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it was really good.
Because it's the thing you do. If you shout time out and the monster stops, you go, "I'm gonna do it then."
Oh.
Otherwise, I was gonna have to slip on the new knuckle duster and punch him with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you bought the new knuckle duster, didn't you? So you went back to Brand's Keep, and she basically went, "Look, we're going to dish out some justice on Drogon, and she was about to kind of cut off his head.
I think it was that point. I was like, yeah, that was the point. I was like, I don't care what you do. He's a prick.
Yeah, and then there was a kind of warning sound coming from the watchtowers in Bran's Keep. This kind of a Mott and Bailey kind of fort out close towards the mountains, quite far from the road, and the keep was being attacked by the first big bad, this one-eyed Orog, and his warband. So I can't remember. Were you actually there for the defense of Bran's Keep? Okay, so you went there in person as Guy, but Grimrok was there.
It was pub work.
Yeah, he was doing pub work, or he was helping, kind of firing arrows or something. You know, some background.
Firing arrows.
I don't know. You can't throw an arrow.
Did you barbarian fires arrows?
Good point. He was firing javelins. Why not? He was doing something background-wise.
I was firing midgets holding swords. There we go.
Oh, that works. Yeah. So the problem, sure, there's several halflings in her vagabond crew. So the keep was being attacked by this Orog and his warband. The warband consisted of a troll, last I checked, a load of orcs, a load of goblins, and some gnolls. So they all attacked the keep. And then afterwards, Drogon then went to try and assassinate Melvor in the keep, failed, and then was forcibly kicked out and exiled from the keep along with the party. So session 9, I think it is, and we'll check this. Session 9 is expelled from Bran's Keep. And this is where Grimrok came back in. So the party had been expelled, and you had to find your way south to the checkpoint, which was on a river, kind of ford bridge area, which had an imperial fort, an empire fort on it, that then led into Dusk Cove Province. Sorry. So your journey to the checkpoint involved a very large labyrinth. You fought a load of pancakes.
Yeah, I played inside one of them's mouth where it was spewing acid on me while I was punching it. Because I dropped my axe, I was punching it to death and was winning. But when the fight ended, I was very low on hits.
You were actually, yeah.
I was into the single digits. And I think I can't remember what level we were, but I think I had around 30 to 40 health points. Because I was quite a beefy boy.
Yeah, definitely. And then there were some ledges, and I can't remember if that's before and after, or after.
It was before the monsters.
So you had the ledge, the monsters, and then you had the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper.
Who was the riddle master. So you did the riddles quite well. Drogon was very good with riddles. However, what a Grimrok.
I tried to hit the bloke first.
The gatekeeper. Yes.
Because I was trying to be that really, not obvious, but obvious as you're walking up there with your great axe wielding in one hand, just kind of go,
Fair. And I won't describe it. I'll let you describe it.
So, he summoned a, was it a brass golem?
Yeah, it's a brass statue of a kind of a tall golem-esque creature that was standing on a small island between two large gorges which had bridges on them. And
so that came alive and started fighting the entire party. It was doing a steam attack, which counted as fire damage, which rinsed me for more of my little health. At that point, I was like, okay, I can't physically fight in a one-on-one, otherwise, or even with the group. Otherwise, I'm just going to die from hits. So, in my genius, I was like, okay, last-ditch effort, enter rage, tackle into it, because I was quite confident with my strength stat and my...
It was good, you know.
I think it was 19 or something like that. Tackled into the golem. The idea was to push it back and then topple it over. So I had to do the initial strength check to win the grapple. I did. Then I had to do one more to topple it over.
Yep.
To which I rolled a nat 1.
Yep.
we rolled on the fumble table, and I rolled the suicide.
Yes. So
I slipped and fell off into the pit. Now, some fun fact for you. My last barbarian, Shump, also died from a fall, where she was overzealous, and while in that amazing sneak attack of hers, from jumping behind barrels, entering rage, screaming sneak attack, lopped off like 5 guys' heads. One of them jumped from our airship to theirs, cut the cord, and it was starting to leave. I followed, did the jump, failed the jump, got the option to do a deck save, failed the deck save, had advantage on both rolls,
and still failed.
So
you basically fell to the ground
and died.
In obviously airship height, fighting in the air, so you just have this small thing just falling slowly.
And then I had Grimrok fall to his death in a gorge.
Yeah. I think I described it as you fell into the black of the gorge, and no one could even hear you at drop.
Nothing heard. Yeah, it was basically just the voice kind of faded out, and that was it.
Yeah. So that gets us up to session 9. The party continued through this rock labyrinth, and if you watched our previous episode with catching up with Adam, if you haven't, I recommend going and watching it. This is also the same session 9, where his character Mordai died from fighting a Peryton. So go watch that if you haven't already. So Grimrok died in the rock labyrinth. The rest of the party managed to get to the checkpoint, with obviously Mordai dead. So 2 people, Erebos and Drogon, managed to get to the checkpoint. So this is where we introduce your next character, and the shortest lived character, Alduin.
Yeah, so Alduin was the black dragonborn oathbreaker that I had.
I really liked Alduin, to be honest.
I loved Alduin. The whole character design behind it. Like, the idea of it all being, like, just someone who hates the gods. In a very god-heavy, like, world. I thought that was just a nice thing.
Setting, to be honest. Well, I think god-heavy. It's very demon-heavy.
Heaven, hell, god stuff.
Yeah. Silent Apocalypse.
And
he would have fit in so well.
I was playing it as quite like a grizzled person who was a paladin.
Yeah, he's been through a lot.
He's seen things that like the religion do, and you go, well, no, they're not holy people. They're just abusing the power and claiming it's holy. If this is what religion gives, then I don't want to be a part of it. So went into the Oathbreaker because of that. But then, as such, he had quite a jaded outlook on life. It's called Alduin because everyone's played Skyrim.
Yep.
Thought it was suitable name. There we go.
Could have been Parthenax.
Could have been, but I wasn't.
Can I spell that?
Yeah. But the fucking Alduin's life cycle wasn't what I'd expected to be.
No. So
because I was playing it as him being quite grizzled and everything, and had seen things, I put him as a little bit older than most people would do. So I put him in his I think it was in early 40s, late 30s.
Yeah. So session 10 was the party at the checkpoint. They also had met, and again, go watch the Catching Up with Adam if you've not already. They had met Azure, his 3rd character at this point. And they're just about to meet Alduin. So just remind myself, but also tell the viewers how you met the party and how you first got kind of interacted with them.
I think it was I think it was a backlog for people getting through, and it was one of those things like they kind of interacted with me, where Azure kind of pointed out, going, "No, I'm not a dragonborn. I'm a half dragon. He's a dragonborn," bringing me into the conversation. And I'm sitting there going, well, "Who the fuck are you lot?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't like you because you're just some weird like Goliath thing. You've got an unconscious drow with you.
Yep.
And you're just a pretentious dick. Okay, this is going well.
Yeah. And then obviously the regent of the neighbouring province has brought up a force of men, which caused the checkpoint to then go, right, you lot we can shove through the gate, fuck off. You lot go back behind the defences so we can close the door, sort of thing. So you got shoved into the next province, so you're officially in Prince territory. And you met the regent, who said, right, give me a fuck ton of gold as tax toll, essentially. And Azure gave him magic pebbles. That turned out just to be pebbles.
At that point, I started to like Azure because he's fucking over some prick who thought he was better than all of us. He goes, yeah, here's some magic pebbles. And then he goes, yeah, we want to go because they're going to wear off soon. Yes, then.
It was an amazing start. You guys then fought this large bull thing, which orcs kind of look after.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. I think it's in Follow's guide. If you can find it, let us know in the comments below. And then you continued to Dusk Cove, where you went to the kind of the temples, and you were like, hell no, I'm not going there, fuck that.
It was like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and you're wrong.
Yeah, and you went and kind of did a load of shopping. Then you met with the court wizard. Finally, you met with Lynette, his bodyguard, and you found out where the tome was. It was in this tomb of Palin the Pious, and you joined the party then to go further east to the tomb. You then go throwing it into obviously through session 10. Went through the tomb. You solved its puzzles. You dealt with some ghosts. No, spectres. Sorry.
I did really well in that encounter. Because at that point I just went, Aura of Fear. They all failed. Cool. I can do radiant damage because I still got a divine smite somehow.
Yeah.
So I went smite. I'm on fire here.
Yeah.
And then we went into the next encounter.
Yeah. So it's, at the end of session 10, Palin the Pious had appeared. And Drogon, I think, failed the test against him, and Palin the Pious attacked them, and he was a ghost. So that's the end of session 10. Session 11 starts off with them fighting Palin the Pious, and one of the first things he does is he uses his
I think his ghostly visage.
Yeah, ghostly visage, which means everyone makes a wisdom saving throw, I think it was. And if you failed, you took 1d4 times 10 worth of years added onto your life. So what had happened to Alduin?
So, Alduin, being a paladin, was proficient in wisdom. I had quite a high wisdom. I rolled a 1.
Yeah, your last two characters had not the best saving throws.
Well, the thing is, he was designed to be able to be resistant to this kind of thing. And he failed!
So he became, 80 years old very quickly?
Yes, we rolled the d4, I got 4.
So that's 40 years added onto his life?
Added onto a Dragonborn's life cycle. They normally live up to the age of 70.
Yeah, he was literally on death's door. So the rest of the party dealt with Palin the Pious. They got a few magical items.
I killed him. I killed him.
Oh, yeah, you did the last shot, didn't you?
I fought him one-on-one and won.
You did. You actually, yeah. I remember this.
Because I was a bit bitter about him aging me. So it was the first, it was, turn me back. I can't. You fuck! No, it was, I will, if you give yourself to, was it Daenerys?
Daenerys, yeah.
Yeah, and fuck off! No! So then I carried on fighting him. And I think it was that point where he pinned me. I was like, I'm going to let you go now. And as he turned around, I went and then smited him in the back.
Yes, you did.
And killed him.
Can't believe it.
Like a hero.
Yeah, like a hero. Then you... then the party, obviously, you and the party went back to Dusk Cove to kind of deal with a few things. Erebos went straight... I'm trying to remember this correctly. Erebos went straight to the palace to go and deal with, obviously get something. Drogon went to the market, I think, and you went to the market.
I went to the tavern.
Yes.
To eat, I believe.
Drogon and Azure went to the market, and Erebos
went to pay a visit to the court wizard. He got picked up by the
Knights of the Black Rose, who then escorted him to the castle, and whilst you were entering, kind of getting close to Dusk Cove, you saw loads of people mourning, and it was a very somber tone in the city itself. So, when Erebos actually arrived at the castle, it turns out that the regent was now in power and not the Duke, the Baron, who was in charge. So he was, and the court wizard was missing. The regent decided to blame Erebos because this large Goliath just appeared in the city, and then immediately the court wizard disappears. So Erebos was then sent to jail.
I heard about the commotion that was happening, and I was like, oh, that's my idiot that's gone there. And so I went out and I found Azure. By pure accident, I found Azure and Drogon. And at that point I was like, okay, well, our Goliath's been taken. Do you want to go get him back? At that point they were like, Drogon went, oh, I'll go get him in a bit. And Azure was like, okay, we'll be more stealthy about it. At which point we were picked up by the halfling.
Yes, the halfling rogue.
Who was going to get us sneaking in. At this point, I made a deal with Azure as Alduin. He goes, oh, if you make a deal with me, I could get you your I can make you young again. I was like, okay. Made the deal. No, he just extended how long I live. He didn't actually make me younger. He just made it so I lived longer. And this was a very... and because it's my short-lived character, everyone knows where this is going. Alright, so we went to sneak in, and we were sneaking into a part of the castle which was into the kitchen.
Yep.
Now the halfling wasn't agreeing with what we wanted as demands, so I believe I knocked him out.
Yep.
And we were just carrying the halfling with us as we were breaking in.
Yep.
We were faking being part of the fucking kitchen staff, and everyone just okayed it because we had high enough charisma to like lie.
Yep.
Adam being the warlock and myself being a paladin. We lied our way through. Then went in to the dungeons through the wizard's study, I believe.
Yep, it had like a secret door.
Yeah, that would take
you went down, you saw the body of Zet, who had been murdered, and she wrote out the word regent in her blood before she died, and then you saw this path that was leading into the dungeons.
So we took this path, and we came up to a wall. You could tell the rocks were loose and everything. At what point, I put the halfling down. This is very important.
This is it. We'll come back to that.
We then pushed the wall away. I think it just crumbled down. And
no, I think you literally oh-yeah'd through it.
Oh yeah! Oh no, that was it. Because we were saying, no matter what we do, they're going to hear us and do something. So what I've got to do is...
It's all one big move.
Yeah. So the one big move that we planned was, I'd oh-yeah through, run over to the door, attempt to use my acid breath to melt the lock, to then go and be able to retrieve the others. Now, when we did the oh yeah, we had no idea of the layout of the dungeon. So when I oh yeah'd and gunned it straight for the door and melted it, and then turned to my right to see there was the cell right next to us, I just went, fuck, I've just opened up the door for the bad guys to run in.
Yeah, so what then ensued was a kind of big battle against the Knight of the Black Rose. There were 3 knights, four knights, and every turn I'd roll a d6, and on a 6 another knight turned up, and these were out the monster manual knights. So this was a deadly battle. So what I was trying to do for the players was, you need to get them out quick. There's not just sitting here taking them down. These will overpower you. These are people like in plate armor. The captain who was on guard, she was ruthless. She would, as the party were luckily armed, if they weren't, she would just kill you no save.
Like, I believe I'd killed 2, and Azure had killed 3.
Yeah.
Like,
bodies were piling up.
But the thing is, I died when Azure was doing his kill, because he got. So it was he did. Well, I crippled some of them, and he was doing damage. He then managed to get around to line up 3 of them. I was in the middle of this line.
Yep.
Which he did his dragon breath on.
Yep.
Doing the lightning across. I failed the save, and took the damage and fell down. At this point, I was doing death saves when they were being now swamped with more knights turning up. Because I think you were lowering the number needed the longer it went on.
Yeah, I think it was during every 2 turns.
Yeah, it would then the number would drop needed because the alarm's gone on longer, more people are rallying, and at that point, I basically got beaten up when I was on the floor, dying.
Yeah.
So then someone came, I think it was the lady, the captain, she kind of came up and went stab.
Yeah, she finished. She came along, saw Alduin's body kind of writhing, and obviously still alive, and she was like, no. And killed you. So session 11 was the end of Alduin. But luckily, in one of the prison cells at the end of the room in the dungeons of Dust Cove was Guy's current character all the way up to session 37, which is the one we just completed recently this week, is Ansem. So we're going to see... We're going to talk for a bit longer on Ansem because he's lasted a lot longer.
Alright.
So, give us a bit of a background about Ansem then.
So, Ansem is actually based off of my LARP Dark Elf that I've played. He was Necromancer. It goes by the same principle and characteristics how I played him. He was cocky, overconfident. Yeah, you can kill me in a hit, but fuck you.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And how I played it from his backstory was also very similar. He was like groomed to be this amazing chosen one for an undead deity. And he's just gone, I don't like that. I'm going to do what I want, not what you want. Fuck you! And runs away.
Yeah.
And how we got to the Regent's cell to begin in the prison in the Regent's area was after the court wizard's gone missing. It was known that there was a dark elf had seen him, so I was called in to be questioned. And when the Regent was turning up to sit on his throne, he found me there, kind of wiggling and going, you know what, I like this. This is mine.
Yeah. And immediately arrested. Yeah. Immediately arrested, weapons taken, well, not that he had any, but...
he took exception to that, so okay.
So you were a wizard necromancer, a dark elf, and you were using the background harrowing event?
The haunted one.
Haunted one, yes. Yeah. And your harrowing event was?
I was born under a dark star.
So Ansem Dark Star.
Yeah.
Became your name. And your event, your birth story is kind of like now being part of the main campaign. So we're going to go through not session by session with Ansem because that's 25 episodes almost, but we will kind of go through the main points of Ansem's journey. So because Ansem's one of the characters that has changed considerably. Most of it is Ansem and his character development, but there is a large portion that was kind of forced upon him, and that this will come to light in a second. So let's start off right at the start then. So you were in the cell. So Alduin had died. You had watched this Dragonborn just get executed by the captain of the guard. There was a breakout happening, and the guard that was assigned to your cell to look at kind of your end of the dungeon is slowly coming forward to kind of deal with the party. And this is when Ansem springs into action.
It's when Ansem does what Ansem does best, and where he gets cocky. It's like, oh, what, you're not joining in? You're afraid? Gonna chip a nail? Acting a bit flamboyant there.
So the guard was having none of this and thought to beat the shit out of the prisoner, essentially. So he opens the door.
To which I rolled to see if I could spit in his eye.
And he rolled very high.
Yeah. So I spat in his eye, and then I basically just used weight, like charged into him, and then just ran away.
Yeah. So Ansem's still in essentially manacles.
So no
runs, whilst Erebos and Azure make their and Drogon make their escape back through the tunnels, which they had found through the Court Wizard's tower. And Ansem in pursuit of them, and behind Ansem were a lot of knights who were taking pot shots at people with their spears and swords and things. You came back up. You jumped over the halfling, who was still unconscious, on the floor.
It got to the point where we were making our great escape, and I think as it was coming to the end, I, as Guy, realised, like, shit, we forgot the halfling.
So you got out of Dusk Cove. I think you used invisibility on somebody?
So I got Erebos to break my shackles.
Yeah.
So I could use all my somatic components and stuff. And I did invisibility. And I abused the wording of it quite literally, where it's anything that it says anything that you're carrying turns invisible with you. Mm-hmm. So this one we abused the fact that Erebos was carrying Azure and Drogon.
Yeah. Over his fireman carry.
So then I went and cast invisibility on Erebos, because technically everything he's carrying includes those two.
Yep.
And then I cast invisibility on myself.
And then they sneaked out.
And then we walked out.
So session 12 was them getting out of Dusk Cove and coming up to a farmstead. Session 13 was then our player Jay introducing his character Arlo, which is still with us at session 37. I'm going to mark down just in case, because you never know what happens in session 38. And what we're going to do is with Ansem is we're going to kind of bring out the key storylines from session 12 all the way along to session 37, because there's a lot that actually went on with Ansem. He was a very quiet character for the first, I would say, maybe 5 or 6 episodes, not even that actually, probably about the next 3 episodes he was quite quiet. But, and we're going to it in a second, then Ansem realised, obviously, and started getting kind of involved with the main kind of storyline, and realised that actually he has a lot of involvement, and so the character arcs basically started flowing. So let's go with the appearance of Arlo is a very good thing for to go through with Ansem. So session 13 is the introduction of Arlo, who was at the farmstead outside Dusk Cove, where the party were escaping the stormy weather. And you met with Arlo, and he agreed to join the party and try and get some coin and find his family, which were missing. And describe Ansem's feeling towards the party at this point.
Alright, so I just met them, and they were a means to escape, because at that point I was better than them. I still am, but, you know, why would I need to bother myself with them? They're beneath me.
Yeah.
So
Ansem's, yeah.
They were a means to an end at that point.
And Arlo, I guess, as well?
He's just an extra pickup that we found along the way. Yeah, we've got some stand in front of me.
Fair.
It's the more between me, the safer I feel.
Very true, yeah, very true. So, session 13 was the party heading back from the edge of Dusk Cove all the way back to Amberglade. So they went along the river, they had to try and get across it. It was very, very, very fast flowing, some weird magic stuff was used. Then they slowly made their way back to Amberglade and found it had been razed.
Before that, just because I want to throw this out there, on the way back to Amberglade, after the river, we got jumped by a werebear.
It's just before the river, yes. So you got jumped by the werebear and his bear friends.
Okay, I want to throw this out. literally a session after I made Ansem, the werebear rolled around when I see who would jump on. It was me.
Yep.
And he nearly one-shot me. This werebear, and because I didn't have much health, and the bear just came along and went, yeah, lots of damage, and I just went, and I'm on death saves already.
Yeah, that was a tough start.
It was that whole. I'll get another character sheet ready just in case.
Yeah, you're sitting there going, bad luck continues. But luckily, I'll see, you still survived. Yes, so you got back to Amberglade. During this time, there had been an open quest to go and actually find out what the hell this Orog was up to, what these goblins were up to. However, it had not been redeemed, and by this point, it was maybe a month had gone past, if not a month and a half.
Yeah. A lot of time.
A lot of time.
Because you go, oh, we'll do that. Oh, look, a side quest.
Yeah. Ooh, side quest. Ooh, side quest. Ooh, piece of candy. And so what I kind of did as a DM was try and enforce the idea of a moving world around the players, but also there's a lot of factions in the setting who are vying for power and also trying to make their own impact in the world. And one of them, at this point, was the Orog's Warband. So they had attacked Brand's Keep. They had goblin troops and scouts around the farmsteads, and they were attacking and they were taking prisoners. And Merrin Poscuth, the Chamberlain of Amberglade, had given the party a quest to go, obviously, we send out scouts, come back in a couple of days, and we'll do something about it. Obviously, a month and a half passes, they finally come back to Amberglade, and they find it had been sacked and razed to the ground. So, the party try and find as much information as possible. They see a load of orc bodies and goblin bodies and gnoll bodies on the floor, but even more humans and halflings and dwarves being piled up into burial grounds and pyres and things like that, obviously with their chosen denomination. Luckily, the mayor, his daughter, and Merrin were fine. They had taken refuge in Sinisteel, a local town, and Merrin had come back to deal with the cleanup, and essentially that's kind of how you got caught up with kind of the main storyline of the Ragtag Bunch. What then happened is you joined the party to go and deal with the Orog. You got a massive payout. I think it was 1,000 gold if you go and bring back this Orog's head. So you were like, obviously the party were like, right, okay, let's go do that. So you were sent up to the mountains.
I think it was something, yeah, like 1,000 or 10,000, something like that.
1,000, definitely 1,000.
It was a lot, I remember.
Yeah, well, for a party that young at that point, I think you were barely level 3 at this point.
Level 4, yeah.
Yeah,
like that.
You 1,000 gold between between everyone was not bad. So you went up and dealt with the Orog. You gained some orcish allies. So that was session 13, session 14. Session 15 was the actual fight against the Orog. So the Orog had his two kind of bodyguards. I kind of made them almost like the Avengers. What's it called? Is it Infinity War? Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
So Thanos had his own D&D party in the film. So you had him being kind of the fighter. Then you had the sorcerer. You had the rogue, and you had the ranger, and then you had the barbarian. He had his own D&D party. So I was like, that's what my Orog needs. He needs his own D&D party, and he had that. He had his goblin, one of the goblin shamans. He had his goblin. His fighter friend, who actually joined a coup with the party and actually caused a massive infight. But he had two left. This other goblin sorcerer, and this very large troll. I don't think it was a troll, actually. I think it was an ogre, actually. And it was the ogre that actually attacked the Brand's Keep. So you had to fight the Orog, the Ogre, and the Sorcerer. So Ansem was thrown into the deep end, kind of, I feel. You kind of think, they go, oh, it's a mean to an end, you got out. Why am I in this large cave fighting this really massive beast? How did Ansem feel being kind of thrown in the deep end like this?
So, it was my idea to go kill the Orog. As the party were a bit like, we'll wait for Dragon. I was like, no, we want to get the fucking money for that.
Yeah.
That's so much gold. Well, fuck you guys, I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, yeah, actually, let's do that. At this point where I'd found my new favourite spell, the Witch Bolt of Ultimate Power.
Yeah, and we have an episode called Ultimate Power. You can find that more about that on our wiki.
Because, you know, I was slowly becoming Darth Sidious.
You were.
Do it.
Yeah. Do it.
So it was the whole thing of going up there dealing with the Orcs. It was like, this is the means to the end. We've got to get there, kill the boss, I get my payout. And it kind of escalated from there, because when we did get up to fighting the Orc, I went in and was like, okay, Goblin Shaman, I'm going before him. Okay, run up, Witch Bolt, he's dead. Cool.
Nice.
Next, shit, he's big and he's come quite close.
Yeah, with a massive club. I think he was throwing wooden stakes, like javelins as well.
Yeah, so he was ripping off pieces of a dam that was behind him, and he was just javeling them out. So I was like, if this hits me, I'm dead. No, really.
There was a very interesting kind of boss battle where there was a large pit in this floor where the Orog had been sacrificing the slaves or the captives from Amberglade into the pit, and because he heard voices coming from it, and this is why half of the Orog's warband actually betrayed him. They thought he was going mad. Yeah, they thought, obviously, normally when they hear the voice of Grimrok, you know, the big orc chief, it's normally go kill, not kind of sacrifice me to a pit sort of thing. So they thought something was definitely wrong, and the party utilised this. So this giant ogre was ripping apart this wooden dam, which the party slowly cottoned on to. Hold on, shit. If that comes down...
I caught onto it quite quickly.
What?
No one else saw the urgency.
No one else saw the urgency.
I was like, you want to do it? Fucking kill it now!
Essentially, if you want a dramatised version of it, watch a toilet flush. Best way of saying it. So, the party dealt with the ogre quite quickly, and managed to kill the ogre and the Orog on the same turn. So, as the Orog was kind of killed... you witch bolted the ogre and kind of disintegrated him, so he was like, not feeling well. And the Orog then fell into the pit, being flushed away because this dam had breached, and the party went down with him.
That nearly killed me on that one.
That nearly killed you,
and
then Erebos took his head.
The
Orog, that is.
Because I had quite low hits, and we were making, I think it was either a strength or a con save, and I don't have strength or con as Ansem. They were my dump stats because I thought it was funny. Because
don't dump stat con.
Alright, so stat wise, I wanted to play Ansem like, you know, proper mage, nowhere near the front line. So I played it. So I was like, okay, well I rolled my stats, and I rolled some good ones, and I rolled some terrible ones. So, what I was good at, I'm amazing at. What I'm shit at, a child with cerebral palsy could probably do it better.
Yeah, it was strangely accurate, to be honest. But this is the thing. The reason I kind of wanted to detail that out for the viewers, because it kind of gets you to the point where Ansem kind of now started getting his footing into the world. Because what happened is they were also fighting the Orog in his camp, which was kind of this long cave system. They were then flushed into the belly of the mountain, essentially. They were dumped out of this large lagoon. The party started walking around underneath obviously this mountain. Obviously not illuminated really at all. Obviously some fungi, luminescent fungi was kind of lighting your path. Until you walked your way to a kind of underground river system with a slight path to it, and you came to a sealed door where several other skeletons were found with a ton of runes on the floor.
I've just realised something.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking...
You've still got that ring. No, you're probably not.
No, it's not.
Now.
No. Yeah, that rune's gone, the one I stole.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of... so in the latest episode, Gambian Everspire was shown to be a golden dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking... Back when we were doing the puzzle, there was talk of a golden dragon.
I literally, the first time you ever, this is the thing, if you've not watched our latest episode of Liches and Witches, session 37, where the party, obviously an old friend gets kidnapped, but also Gambian Everspire, one of the big kind of NPCs in our campaign, shows his true form. Believe it or not, I actually tell the party almost on the first time they will meet him, I tell them exactly what he is, but they never actually realised it. So they do speak of a dragon, they do speak of his heritage and his gold, and they're fucking kobolds, man.
No one fucking believes a kobold.
No one believes a kobold. So what happened was the party got up to this door, this logic puzzle that I found on Reddit, and I'll try and link it down below. It was an amazing puzzle door. I had been waiting ages to break this one out because it was fun. It was not too kind of weird, like it's not a huge riddle, it's not trying to work out what pieces were facing the right way. It was a proper sit down, pen and paper, like to try and work this out. But I wanted to put a sense of urgency on it. So, whilst the party were trying to figure out how to get the door working and put the runes in the right place, which were numbers, and it was an action to put a rune in the right place. There were 21 runes, including 0. And so an action to put it in, and every turn I'll roll some dice, and that's how many kobolds showed up. And it went from really shit kobolds that were obviously the party were able to attack and defend the bridge from. Then kobolds then appeared from a log at the top and started flying slings down, and then some swobolds came out, these kind of dragon shield kobolds, which are kind of a bit beefier. So luckily the party managed to put the door right, and obviously for that, again I'm not going to give the hint because I don't want to give it away, but again it's down in the thingy. Go read it because it's very clever, and they worked it out. You rush through the door to get into the other side, to get away from the kobolds, and you saw these kobolds running up to try and chase you. And then Ansem did...
I did the smart thing of going, well, I'm just going to take it. If it opens with the runes, I'm just going to take a rune and let it close.
Yeah, and as it was closing, this kobold dragon shield jumped through, Erebos punched it in the face, stopping it, and then the doors closed on him. So at this point, Guy actually has another character, and we'll detail this in a second. So we finished that session with the party coming up to a... junction. 3 passages are left. One that smells of haunched meat, one that smells quite clear, quite clean air, and one that smelled kind of damp. They decided to go to the one that smelled of food. Azure went along this corridor, which kind of thinned out to about 5 foot wide, and there was a wooden door in front of him and a sound of noise.
I'd done a sneak to get up there, and then Azure went while you sneaking and just walked up,
opened the door,
flung the door open, going, "What smells good?"
Yep. I think what's cooking, fellas, or something like that.
Something like that.
And it was 6 hobgoblins. So that. So let me just recount. So we've got session 13 was going back to Amberglade. Session 14 was the start of the fight of the Oral War Camp. Session 15 was the end of the Orog and being flushed down and the puzzle. And then what's cooking, fellas? So session 16, we actually introduce a new character.
So for this session it was just Adam and I. And we were 2 spellcasters.
Yes.
So, and we're in, because Stephen's been a very generous god, we basically just entered into another enemy camp with no fighters. So he let us roll up
a second backup character.
A second character each to have with us.
Again.
Now, Adam and myself didn't communicate this, and probably should have.
Yeah.
But we both rolled up rogues that multiclassed into another thing. So mine was a rogue monk, while Adam's was a rogue sorcerer.
No, I think she was just a rogue, maybe a rogue ranger.
No, rogue sorcerer.
Was she?
So she could do the ranged healing.
Oh, she was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So she changed it slightly because she came back later on, but she was just a rogue. I don't think she was.
She had the sorcerer with her, but she was. Well, it was.
I think it was just one level, wasn't it?
She was a higher level rogue than sorcerer, so she swapped that later on.
I remember that. But yes, so the next character, so Ansem's still alive, but for this next session, so session 16, I think I just said, was actually Guy playing 2 characters, one being Ansem and one being his second character, Omen. So, Omen was a Kenku, is that right?
Yes.
And it was an interesting way, because obviously you were kind of put on the spot for that session to make a character before we were starting about 7 o'clock-ish. So please, obviously, if you can, try and remember back, obviously, so was it 11, quite far back now, sessions ago, if not 21 sessions ago actually. Can you just go through the process of Omen and what you were thinking?
Actually, this is super easy actually. So it brings back to Resurgence again, because after Shum died, I made another character who was a Kenku.
Yes.
He was a Kenku rogue.
Yes.
Called Sparky Boom Boom, because
Yeah, and by the way, you don't actually say Sparky Boom Boom. It was the sounds of
Sparks and Boom.
Yeah, so you're more than welcome to try and replicate that for us, and then you can always send us a little video, lichesandwitches@gmail.com, and we'll love to look at those.
Hashtag Sparky Boom Boom.
Yeah. Get that trending, guys.
And so I didn't get to play Sparky much because the Resurgence campaign did come to an abrupt halt not long after.
Yes, after this siege.
I played.
I can't remember.
I did like 4 or 5 sessions, and then we ended. And I was just getting to the swing of it, so I wanted to bring that Kenku thing back. But I was playing it as a multi-class into rogue monk, because I would like the idea of kind of being a ninja as opposed to being like an assassin. You're being a ninja. So I had the close combat as well as the sneak crits.
Yeah.
It was just that kind of thing. So yeah, I like the idea of running around like that. And what got me though was the name. Trying to come up with a name on the spot. So the idea and stats are easy. Same with the class. Easy to go. Oh, I'm going to be a ninja, because it was the name for something. And so this is when I made a decision as well of because you helped me with the name for Omen, and at that point it's like, okay, well I'll make a decision then that Omen just doesn't speak. So I don't know if at any point you realised like the 3 sessions or 2 sessions I played Omen.
I think you only did one.
Or the 1 session, he didn't say a word.
Didn't say a word, no.
Not one. While Sparky Boom Boom, he wouldn't
very
stop talking,
talkative.
and it was very difficult to talk as Sparky Boom Boom.
Yeah, because Guy was very true to his kind of how he talks, which was replicating what he'd heard around him. So it was very much like a mockingbird.
Yeah, so best way, like trying to make a unique sentence, he would end up talking like Bumblebee does from Transformers.
Oh God, yeah.
Where he got flicks
Get a
the
soundboard.
radio channels, yeah. So that was how I was trying to replicate that for unique sentences where he didn't have it all just pre-said.
So session 16 then was in this hobgoblin kind of enemy camp that had been set up in this cavern network, which is now turned into a load of dwarven architectural ruins, kind of a bit of a background. The party kind of did know that there was a dwarven city that was settled into this mountain, but it had been closed off about 70 years ago. They thought there was obviously it was closed under threat of a plague had basically been established there. They closed the doors, sealed the doors, and everyone died inside. So, and it had never been reopened. So the party, seeing a load of hobgoblins, was a bit kind of strange, and what they did was then, well, you can probably recount a bit better.
The best way to say it is we panicked. So we killed all the hobgoblins in the immediate room. One got away, notifying an alarm. This didn't help us because we panicked more then because an alarm was going off. So best way to go is, well, we're not going to backtrack because there's 2 other paths we don't know, they could be dead ends. We definitely know this carries on forward. Let's run forward. So we just carry on running, and we end up running deeper and deeper in.
Yep.
And I think this is the point I was starting to take a bit more command in the out of the group, where I was just saying, "Oh, we're doing it. We're going this way. We're going this way." Because if no one thinks fast, we're gonna die.
Yeah. So obviously the 4 characters, the 2 players, started kind of weaving through the different rooms and corridors, and eventually had tumbled out, fighting hobgoblins all the way. Tumbled out into this main street thoroughfare, where they viewed the awesome kind of scope, which is the dwarven city of Crab McDuggan, and which is, and again, you'll get this description from the previous video, catching up with Adam, is a massive dwarven city set on a crescent-shaped canyon. And on the inside of the crescent is the inner city, and on the outside of the crescent is the outer city. And the party had basically just come out of the barracks complex at the southern end of the outer part of the city. And they had all tumbled out, and they were expecting a completely abandoned, desolate graveyard tomb. What they had come out to was a fully established hobgoblin army in command of a city. Roughly, probably 10,000 hobgoblins occupied this city and were working in it. And they were probably being chased by about 200 hobgoblins at this point. So the party ran around the crescent of the canyon up to the central area where there was a bridge joining the 2 parts, and there's a bridge heading west as well, out of the main outer city back to the kind of surface area, which had been locked and kind of locked down. When they reached this bridge, they hit a kind of central market square, and this is where they got surrounded by the hobgoblin army. And from the bridge they heard this marching, and this hobgoblin general with his kind of pure bodyguard, his kind of prima legion unit, came marching across, and he basically kind of welcomed them and said, "Welcome to Crag McDuggan. My master knows you're here, and he would like to speak with you." And this is when Ansem met, obviously first met Gambian Everspire, whose identity had been now revealed in session 37, his true form, but this is when they actually first met Gambian Everspire.
We were told before we actually met him was if you talk over him or upset him a little bit, you're dead. Yeah,
he'll order his troops to kill you on sight.
So I took that as you raise your hand before you speak.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had something to interject, so when he was like monologuing and I wanted to insult him during it, I'd put my hand up first.
Yep.
And I was making a big thing of raising my hand and making it known.
Yeah.
Like a child when he's like, me.
Yeah. And Gambian made a very good effort of trying to ignore you.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, as a DM, I'm something like, please don't crack up, you need to keep this kind of stern face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the party met Gambian Everspire, they met his wife. Gambian went, "Look, I could kill you right now because you should not be here. You somehow ended up here, but you should not be here. I should obviously take two things into account. How on earth did you get here? What the gods have got planned for you? And also, what now lies with me in letting you live. How about let's let fate decide. Go and kill this beast, and if you survive it, I'll let you go, and I'll give you this shiny box. Not obviously shiny box. This wooden box that looks very interesting. Turns out to actually hold, well not hold, but would hold the deck of many things, which the party are also collecting. It's part of Erebos's kind of campaign piece. But yes, so you met Gambian Everspire. You actually killed the beast, the tunneling horror.
Before then.
Yes, before then. Sorry.
With the black pudding.
Even before then, you had the goblet.
Oh God, yeah.
So Gambian Everspire went, look, I want you to go deal with the tunneling horror. However, you need a guide. So he clapped and summoned a shadow demon, a shadow spirit, in the form of.
No.
Or was that afterwards?
That was afterwards.
So, boss. I see. So long ago. So long ago.
A Draga. Is it Draga?
A Dwarga.
Dwarga.
A Dwarga, basically an evil dwarf.
To come up with the chalice with what looked like to be wine in it.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Azure and I fought over who would drink the chalice, and I just drank it.
Yep.
At this point, because we were trying to be like who could be more sophisticated. And it was a childish reason why I just downed a stranger's drink, but I did. Turned out there was something in the drink.
Yeah. So it definitely happened. Was it after the tunneling horror or before? Because I thought it was before.
Yeah, it was before the tunneling horror.
Cool. So it was definitely before because obviously she was bound to you to go and find it. So Ansem drank from the chalice, and what this essentially did was bound Calcifer to Ansem, and Calcifer was the shadow person, the shadow spirit, who was kind of this kind of young female. They didn't really understand what she looked like. She looked humanoid, but they couldn't really see an outline. I kind of based her on two kind of influences, inspiration. Lucy from Disenchantment, Matt Groening's latest series, and Teenage
Negasonic Warhead.
That one.
No, it's Negasonic Teenage Warhead. There we go.
That one. And I basically played her. So she had a very kind of determined, individualistic kind of attitude, kind of like a fuck you to everybody. But she was a bit kind of stronger, but she was more the do it, go kill yourself sort of thing.
Yeah.
So she was now bound to Ansem. So that means that if he died, she died. She couldn't interact with the material plane that easily, but mostly with him. But it was mostly because Gambian was like, look, if you live, I'm going to let you go. But I can't let you tell anyone what you've seen and what I want. Therefore, if you do it, she's going to immolate you on the spot. And obviously, stuff will for her will go through that. So it's kind of a threat, kind of like a ticking time bomb sort of thing. You were wired essentially. So you dealt with the tunneling horror.
Before then,
you were dealing with the black pudding. Yes.
Black pudding, the worst type of pudding. Never go for black pudding.
I go for the black pudding.
So, because I was the smart guy with my intelligence 20. When the black pudding appeared, the first thing I did was my instinctive ultimate power witch bolt. To which I didn't realise it makes a black pudding split.
Yeah, so there was two black puddings. One on the wall and one fighting them. And which then easily
it dropped
in the way.
My head.
Yes.
And that was knocked me out.
Yeah, and you suffered burns across your face.
My face. And then after Omen physically kicked the shit out of the black pudding, we encountered the next. This was the mean one. The next encounter where it was the Nothics. Yeah, the dwarf that had been.
Oh no, not the dwarf. Yes, the spawn of Kiss.
Yeah, so like it was the dwarf that had like loads of worms riddled in him. So Omen snuck up behind it. So everyone else stayed by the door. Omen snuck up, hit it, did his assassination crit. Lots of damage, like loads for the start, and that's where that session ended.
Yeah, we ended the session with him cutting into the dwarf, his body splitting, and all of these worms just coming out, and then the body, his arms basically reached around back behind him, almost like out of Ash and Evil Dead sort of thing, and then attacked, and we ended the session like that. So we started the next session, session 17, with the party back, which means Omen was no longer there, and Azure took his place.
Azure?
Ansem took his place.
Ansem, the one who couldn't take the hits.
Yeah.
So it went from Omen, who had like an armor class of 17 with high dex and good close combat capabilities, to the mage with an armor class of 12 with no hits.
So
after just getting up from being down from a black pudding. Going, fuck. Turns out, the monster just likes to miss, or the DM fudges his roll so it doesn't kill the drow.
To be fair, I rolled like crap. But the one thing that Spawn of Kiss does is it throws its worms at its assailants, and they burrow if you do not find them quick enough. And if they don't find them quick enough, bad stuff happened. Really bad stuff. Again, DMs, highly recommend if you want to kind of scare, really throw that curveball with your players. I think it's in Volo's Guide as well.
So of course, he throws a worm at me, gets me straight in the face.
Right in the forehead.
Right in the forehead. That was the only round he got, because immediately thereafter, everyone else just beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, he kind of swarmed him, to be fair. It was a fine encounter for the four of them, because the level, how it worked, but with all the party back, it was not suitable. But yeah, so you fought against that creature. You then went against the Nothics.
Yeah, they weren't too bad. It was quite standard. And
then the Quaggoths, which were the psionic, leopards, saber-toothed tiger-looking things, right before the tunneling horror. And then you dealt with the tunneling horror. You killed it. You came back.
That was a close one, actually. At that point, I might have died on that one.
Yeah, there was a lot of worm kind of mounting. That's way of saying it.
Azure tried to mount it and nearly died.
Erebos mounted it and nearly died. Arlo attacked it and nearly died. And you...
I didn't mount it. Right? I was the safe one.
Yeah.
I didn't get hit, but if it did hit me, I was dead.
So I had to basically stat down this purple worm. And I was saying, essentially it's a juvenile worm that got its way lost, essentially, from its
I think I was spanking all my spell slots on Rain Enfeeblement to make it have. I think it was disadvantage on attacks.
I think so too.
Just so people survived.
Bear in mind it had a +9 to most things.
So disadvantage, please.
So the party dealt with that. They went back to Gambi and Everspire. Gambi and Everspire was like, "Cool, you did what I asked. The fates allow you to live. So here is a box. You may go, and Ansem, can you stay here, please? I want to speak to you." So Ansem stayed, and Gambi and Everspire went, "Look, I sense a weird power in you. You sensed there was a bad juju coming from him."
I came to check, and I got quite high. And I was like, "Yeah, you sensed bad stuff from me. I know the bad shit you got back there. Let me see it."
So in this massive throne room, there were these two large doors that went into a next room that were guarded by a lot of soldiers, and he was like, "No, you can't go back there. That's my area. That's my own little place." So
but
no.
At this point, you're talking to me as an equal. So I did what I do as Ansem. Like, you're on my level now. I can act better than you. So I was doing that, and I was trying to own the conversation.
Yeah. And what happened?
As a roleplay perspective,
it was great.
I fucking nailed it.
Oh, roleplay perspective, yeah. But what did Gambi and Everspire do?
We all kicked out.
Yeah, I think this is the third time the party have been kicked out somewhere. So Gambi and Everspire was like, "Look, I want you to go and find the Orcus Arcanum. It details a lot of information on items that I need."
So the original deal, if I remember right, was get him the Orcus Arcanum. I was like, "Well, what's stopping me from just taking it?" And you go, "Well, you'll go insane if you read it." And you won't? No, I won't, because, Gambi and Everspire is Gambian. And I was like, "Fine, I'll get it for you. Read it to me."
Yeah. And Gambian was like, "Look, fine, I'll teach you its power, but you have to get it." So Ansem had made a deal with Gambian, and Gambian was like, "Right, well, the seal and the bond between you and Calcifer is still going. So you talk to anyone about what I've told you and the mission you are on, and how it relates to me, I will kill you. But if you want to go and find information about it to get it, then that doesn't involve me. That's fine.
And when I was doing that, my retort was, I'm pretty sure, like, if you, I think it was, well, if you kill me, you ain't getting your book. So
I think, yeah. And he was like, "It's always more, always more people, always more suckers."
But there isn't.
So you left Crag McDuggan and headed back to Amberglade. You got a bit healed up, and the party went to Perinos. Then you went and found more information about Gamlian Everspire and his wife. You found out a bit more about his lineage.
Yeah, I was being quite nosy about it.
You then went north towards Pilferreach to try and gain...
I think it was before then. I spent the entire party's money and didn't tell them.
This was in Perinos. So in Perinos there was a magic shop called Garfield's, which is based off the Adventure Zone's Fancy Costco, I think it's called. Obviously, if you've not listened to their D&D podcast, I highly recommend. It's the McElroy brothers, and one of the characters was called Garfield the Deals Warlock, and I loved the character and I wanted him in my own campaign. So Garfield is part of this universe, and he owns a magic shop that was owned, kind of looked after by these large paladins and himself. So yes, Ansem went into the shop and bought a load of things. A lot of these exist in the Adventure Zone's history as well, so some of them might recognise.
So you say I bought a lot of things. I bought one thing.
I swear you bought more than one thing.
The first time.
The first time.
Because we didn't have enough money. The second time we bought everything. The first time I went in there. I was like, okay, well, what can I get? And I was told, oh, well, you can get was it Matthias, mechanical
grimoire?
Yeah,
yes, Matthias. Grimoire. The owl, the clockwork owl.
And I was like, oh, I've got to get it. How much is it? And it was like 1,500 gold. I was like, I have in total about 1,300, including all my silver and copper, which I have. This is the entire party's money, not just my own.
Yep.
And I went, okay.
Ansem had a bag of holding, so he was
size.
Huh?
It was only purse size.
Purse of holding, I should say. So he was essentially the party's money bag.
The fools. So at that point, I traded. I can't remember. It was some other items.
Some magic items, yeah.
It was like really bad items, as well as the entire party's funds for this mechanical owl. To which I had it on my shoulder, and then just rolled around the party and didn't say a word about it.
Yep.
I just had it there.
Yeah, it was amazing. The party it was one of those kind of agreement to ignore sort of things. It was absolutely amazing.
And I just don't bring up the fact that we don't have any money anymore.
So the party then obviously in Perinos, you found information about Gamlian Everspire's kind of lineage, and I think at that point you kind of just knew that you kind of found out about his heraldry. That's the bit you found out.
Yeah, so he was the Everspires, and it was the Contester.
Yeah, so he came from the Everspire bloodline, and then his wife is the Contester bloodline, which was related to a series of court advisors and chief advisors of the old emperors. So before this current dynasty of emperors, which is the Theodoran dynasty. The previous dynasty was called the Caligulan dynasty, like Caligula, and she was obviously she was part of that advisor dynasty. So the party headed north towards Pilferreach because Ansem wanted to gain a meeting with the Order of Denier, who would have information about this book, as said Gamlian Everspire. And the party had also had a mission from Brand when they were expelled, when Drogon was expelled, to go to Pilferreach to perhaps join the Order, which they haven't done so far. So, two birds, one stone. Party met at Pilferreach, found Brand at a small kind of keep, that's where Session 37 actually the party start, and they then head west towards the Order of Daenerys Keep, which was kind of tucked away using illusion magic. Before then, they were kind of shown the way by two of the Order's apprentices. A young apprentice around the age of 17 called Felix, and a younger one about 13, 14 called Moorgrove, who was very silent, and he just had a book with him all the time. So on the way to the keep, they had reached this rocky outcrop called the Giant's Throne, and then the day after that they got to a barn where they decided to sleep for the night. During the night they were attacked by a werebore and several orcs.
This was on my watch as well, so my bad that we weren't more alert on it.
Yeah. The barn was attacked, they started breaking through into the barn, and the werebore basically charged through it. So this is where Drogon used his
infinite wisdom
signature move, which was Thunderwave.
I was on the floor
in a contained building with a lot of stuff around him, and Ansem was on the floor above him. So he used it, bang, a load of people failed the roll, so they went flying. The building automatically fails, so it got... Basically, it started exploding and collapsing around them, causing Ansem to fall unconscious.
I nearly died in that one. Technically, I should have, depending on how you were doing it, because, that was it. Because you rolled for the damage initially, and you took me exactly onto my maximum health in the negative.
Yeah.
So that would have killed me outright, and you went, okay, we'll knock it back one then.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking...
Yeah, because you're going to give him a chance, don't you?
Outright kill me from the... Because that was it, it was... Drogon's damage, took me a bit, and you go, okay, you've got to take an extra amount of damage. So you rolled
for the falling damage, that's what
it
was.
Yeah, and you rolled an extra d4, and you've got 4, so an extra 4 damage, right, and that tips me over. All that damage at once tips me over to that, I'm dead. Drop it by 1 then.
So this is where a large rivalry then kind of started between Ansem and Drogon. Ansem was saved by Felix and Moorgrove, who kind of spurred their wagon out of the barn quite quickly using Moorgrove's powers. The ponies had darted at this point who weren't attached. Moorgrove kind of showed his powers to the party. He was very powerful. Something they don't actually know, but they know he's got magical abilities. Either he's a warlock, sorcerer, or wizard. You don't actually know.
I guessed a wizard warlock because he had the spell book, but he was clutching to. But it looked like he had eldritch type powers, so I was going, it's got to be a bit of both.
So Moorgrove kind of forced the wagon out of the barn to save Ansem's life, and they resuscitated him, and the barn collapsed, and luckily the party got out, and this has kind of caused a rivalry between Drogon and Ansem. So I'm going to skip quite a bit because obviously this is kind of it's a lot of side story. Yeah. So basically, a quick bullet point was Ansem met with the Order of Denier. He was told where the book can be found, which was in Cania, the layer of hell owned by Mephistopheles. But the problem was not actually where it was, but how to get there and back. So Baraka said, go and deal with this necromancer further north, bring back his staff as proof that you've killed him, and I'll tell you a way of getting to Cania safely. Getting back is going to be difficult. The party then headed north, but got sidetracked dealing with Balthazar, the owner of Wonderland, which they've just recently killed in the last 2 episodes. Again, go watch them on YouTube. And so some sacrifices happened where Ansem sacrificed his dark vision as being a dark elf. The party then dealt with Balthazar, however found out it was a lich and he wasn't truly dead. They left Wonderland, headed further north up to Oxenburt. In Oxenburt they fought in the arena and kind of looked around the place, kind of gathering information. You found out that there was a large surge of Orcus worship here.
Because of this one shot ultimate power.
Go and read our one-shot kind of rundown, which is on our Wikipedia page, again, linked below. And it kind of then tied back to the Master of Coin, who owns all the kind of, tracks all the coin coming in and out of Oxenburt, the first capital of Avencius, basically. Obviously, our world map as well is on our wiki. Please go and have a check it out. So Ansem and Prince Tamil, who had become friends in Wonderland, started kind of rooting around. They found more about Balthazar's backstory. They found out more about Gambia Everspy's heritage as well, and his background. He was a powerful kind of fighter who fought against Orcus and the Rise, but he had fallen in battle. Or that's how it was written. Then you continued west to go and deal with the Necromancer, finding out a bit more about Clariel the Vile and these weird gold coins, which also related back to Ansem's background.
Oh, because
you had 30 kind of red gold coins.
Yeah, they were Azur's background and Drogon's. Where I just found loads of them. I was like, I don't remember Azur's got one of these. I'm going to see if I get it for real money.
Yeah. So they went westwards to go deal with Clariel the Vile, and based off, I think, the village of Homlet, first edition D&D setting. I
think it was at this point I found out that all the amount of red coins that you had was how much of a beacon you were basically emitting. So the fact that I had 30 to 40 on me.
He knew they were coming. And the first met Clariel the Vile in a small inn outside, where a bartender was kind of being hustled by a local kind of gang of thugs. They saw him and his corpse kind of cadaver collector, kind of sized him up, and then they went to the tower and defeated him.
Well, I tried to kill him there and then, but he counterspelled me.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and then disappeared into a portal. They then went and killed Clariel, but also stopping a demon coming through this arcane gate. Very similar.
Leg off.
Yeah. They're very similar to the gate that they found in Balthazar's Wonderland, which Ansem had been researching about and found out there were several levels of these gates. A small one for energies, kind of a medium one sized for troops, bigger one for bigger creatures, and then they just went bigger and bigger for the bigger things. Ansem, throughout his time, had slowly worked out there were first 3 levels, kind of energy, people, and bigger creatures. And he'd so far found 2. They got back to Oxenburt and dealt with a vampire they found a vampire kind of nest, again tied to the Master of Coin.
I threw a fireball at an old lady in a building.
Yeah, then started a kind of load of fires, and then they put them out.
I put it out and was the hero, so the guards couldn't be angry.
Yeah, you did. You then did a massive fight in the old amphitheatre, which Balthazar had owned under the name of Cornelius in Oxenburt. And against the Master of Coin, 3 of his vampire spawn and a load of cultists. I think 40 tokens were actually on that battle. Again, actually on our YouTube, that massive battle. Give it a watch.
That's where Red Jenny died.
That's when Red Jenny died, and Drogon had his vision of being in this wintry tundra and seeing 2 mountains almost bend to meet each other and to cause a similar gate, just like the arcane gates, and that obviously gave Ansem the 4th type of gate. The party then went south towards Riverford.
Before then, we ran to the crypt in Oxenburt to try and cut off.
Shit! Actually, yeah, I completely missed that. Actually, it's very, very important.
It's very important.
Very important. I apologise. So, whilst after dealing with the cultists, Cambion Thornton, the Master of Coin in Oxenburt, disappeared and made his escape. Ansem remembered the trail of kind of tunnels underneath the city that he previously went through with Prince Tamil, and one of the exits comes at the mausoleum, so it's probably a good chance that Cambion is probably going to appear out there. So he ran with the party to the mausoleum. However, they had just missed him. He escaped in a black coach heading out of the city. The party then broke into the mausoleum, which had been protected by magic, but they broke in. Hold on. And then started dealing with a load of ghouls. No, wights. The party, it wasn't their day.
We had just finished fighting 40 other people.
And so no rest.
No rest. We were out of spell slots. We're quite low on hits. It wasn't our day.
No. 4 wights with longbows and long swords. First Erebos fell.
So Erebos went down. He wasn't KO'd.
Wasn't KO'd. He was
prone.
He was prone.
And I didn't want that to murder him. So what I did was, as the hero I was, tried to jump Witch Bolt and kick the ghoul away.
Yeah.
Or just knock him away. What happens? I jumped on the not ghoul. I just jumped on the white.
Yeah.
I pushed him back a little bit because of weight.
Yeah.
Then,
but he was essentially in combat with him, and then the white knocked him down to 0
with a life drain attack.
With a life drain attack, which means outright
dead.
However, so what we said was Ansem was killed. Ansem's body started to catch fire as the bond between him and Calcifer was now starting to deteriorate, and he basically burned and blew up in front of the party's eyes. Party kept on fighting and escaped the crypts, but obviously this is Ants the catch up with Guy. So what actually happened was Guy's character came to a kind of an ethereal plane.
Well, I'd like to say we ended the session about most of the week later, like 5 days later.
It was 5 days later. I was very drunk out with friends
Saturday night.
on a Saturday night, and we were messaging each other about Ansem and who would be the next character. And then Guy gave me a very critical piece of information that we both forgot on the day.
It was, oh shit, I had the fucking 1-up doll.
So he bought a 1-up doll from Garfield, which basically means if you fail all your death saves, the doll takes a hit and disintegrates in his hand, and his character basically has to have a short rest and get a hit die, or wait 1d4 hours with 1 HP.
So you basically survive a 1 death.
Yeah. We forgot this.
Yeah.
So how we did it was, right, I went to him and went, okay, let me think of how this is going to work. The way we actually ended Ansem in the session before we knew about the 1-up doll was, since him and Calcifer were first bonded, each time someone got close to death, they were sometimes visited by this ethereal woman who slowly looked more and more like Calcifer, and Calcifer turns out to be a half-dragon. And they sat next to each other at a table with a chair in front of them, offering Ansem the seat. And they basically went, we're the same person. This is my other side. This is the side that managed to go to the ethereal plane. However, I'm forced to reside in the abyssal plane. I'm obviously a demon. So they basically said, look, I am the child of Gambian Everspire, and I want you to kill him. And if you kill him, I will resurrect you now. As in, like, if you go and promise to kill him, I will resurrect you so you can do it. If you refuse this offer, then you will just die. And Gambin will probably go and kill your friends. And some reaction to that was...
So I took exception, as Ansem in general, I will take exception to being anyone's underling, because I, with a passion, I am not your slave.
Yeah. So you basically told her to go do one.
Yeah, I say that to everyone who wants me to work for them. Work for me. Fuck off! You work for me.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a door behind Calcifer that led to the...
to death.
Basically to death. And so made a break for it and ran, and Calcifer kind of angered by this, killed him on the spot and immolated him, burning up this entire room. This ethereal kind of study-looking place. And that's how we ended it. That's how Ansem died. But with this new information that was given to me at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yay.
I had a day, 2 days to think up, shit, Ansem's actually alive, and I have to think of a way to bring back Ansem, because that's how we agreed. I gave you an option. Look, I can either I'm going to give you a story about how Ansem's actually alive and how he's going to come back, or we keep him, we don't tell anyone about it, and we just roll up another character. So I had a day to come up with something, so a guy can make a choice. So one Sunday, after most of the hangover had passed, I do not condone drinking, by the way. If there's kids out there, don't do it. I came up with an idea, and I was really worried about how Guy was going to take it, because I want him to. I want him to have as much fun as possible, but I want to make his characters badass. I want them to have good stories and do crazy ass shit. So I came up with this. Ansem being immolated by Calcifer caused the one-up doll to trigger. However, he was already in this passing plane between life and death. So what happened was, with Calcifer sending him to his doom, the one-up doll triggered, but it was expecting the material plane. So it caused him to basically be shifted into a darkened limbo. And Ansem was then stuck there for quite some time. Hundreds of years, thousands of years, he couldn't tell. Just time kept on passing. And my limbo, for this purpose, was a never-ending forest, full of shadowy creatures that were constantly preying on him, but never attacking. And I basically said, look, you are going to re-roll your personality traits, your bonds, your flaws, and your ideals. You're going to roll a long-term, short-term madness or a long-term madness? Long-term madness. But Guy had found a new class on Unearthed Arcana. Was it?
No, it was.
Can you remember where you found it? Try and link it below.
Top of my head, no, I can't remember. What? I'll send you a link for it. And
okay, so we'll put it in the thing below.
But it's for
it's called.
It's for the old 3.5 class known as Pale Master, which is a more streamlined necromancy class. Because my gripe with D&D is, being a wizard necromancer is, yes, you get animate dead.
You don't get much else.
You can make some at level. So it's like get level 7 spell to create undead, but.
Well, you had your two as Ansem, the necromancer, at this point before he died, and then got brought. Yeah. Anyway, with Limbo, before he died, he had two accomplices with him. Dusty and Randy?
No, it was Chuckles and Randy.
Chuckles and Randy. Yeah, Dusty is his new one. Well, was new one. Again, watch the latest episode. So, I said, right, reroll personality traits, bonds, ideals, flaws. You've got a long-term madness, so roll that as well. And you set up your new class as you would. So you did. And we said, right, what's happened is that you are constantly trying to get back into the mortal plane, material plane. You hate it in Limbo. You've now got a long-term madness of being hunted down, but still alive. And you've somehow cracked it, and you managed to get from Limbo back into the material plane, and it's only been 6-7 hours on the material plane. But in Limbo, it was literally Limbo. You were there for what felt like centuries and millennia. So you've come back, and you can barely, or he could barely remember anything from what happened previously. So if you've watched our episodes since that point, you now obviously realise, and if you've not gone back that far, you've been making history checks about each time we go, if we mention something from previous episodes, we laugh and say roll a history check. And this is why we had Ansem version 1. From that session, Guy is now running Ansem version 2. So, Ansem version 2. Can we kind of summarise from that session all the way up to the later session, which we'll quickly headline up about, because obviously your backstory and your main camp kind of story is kind of involved in this bit in the latest episode, and we'll detail that in a second. But can you just sum up how Ansem's transition back into the material plane, learning about his friends again, all the way up to the latest session?
So, as Ansem, the way I like to think of it is basically became like a blank canvas. Like, there's nothing there. It's entirely fresh, entirely pure. And that's what I was playing as, like this, timid, like elf who has no idea where he is, like in a massive city with nothing on. He's no clothes, nothing. He's approached by Goliath, who, tells him stories about their friends and vaguely remembering that this is true. Like he's claiming to like what little that's there that you can think of. And it's just the progression through, like making these history checks, trying to like remember these brief moments. It is something that was just like, it's innocent new, and then throughout witnessing what people are like, it's slowly like dropping like bits of black ink on this canvas. And it was like a small like slow build up, and I was thinking it's going to take ages for anyone like any major effect to be like, oh no, yeah, you want to fuck the world. But recently with the assault on Balthazar, version second raid, let's call it that.
Obviously the party went from Oxenburt with kind of a new version of Ansem, kind of a bit wobbly, but it was all right.
Was there more caring about the party?
Bit more caring. Your relationship with Arlo was a lot stronger.
Yeah.
And Prince Tamil as well. The party went south towards Riverford, where they had first met, Ansem's first character, Drakath, who came back for one session, and he seemed to be kind of promoting Balthazar's Wonderland. So they went back to Riverford to go and deal with where they think Balthazar was hiding. And you met up with Prince Tamil. The party then started interrogating Drakath, your old character, who turned out to be possessed, using this body as a husk, and was a demon. And you were fighting, and then you descended into Balthazar's crypts. And then, if you've watched episode 30, it wasn't 37, wasn't 36, 35, it's a very emotional episode for Arlo and for Ansem. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend watching it. I was exhausted by the end of it emotionally, and we'll detail why now. So the last room before Balthazar, the party, which was Tamil, Ansem's old comrade, fighting in the crypts of Oxenburt and in Wonderland, Prince Tamil's bodyguard Zir, and Aoife, who had joined Prince Tamil, who was Arlo's previous party member when he was in a circus troupe, were possessed.
Family.
It was part of his family. Were all possessed and powered by this red gem, which was hanging on the ceiling. They attacked Ansem and the party, causing a fight.
So the first thing I said, I made this very clear: don't kill them, subdue them. Mm-hmm. I've said this about 4 or 5 times.
Yep. So Aoife was knocked unconscious, and then as the gem was destroyed, she came awake and kind of realised what the hell was happening. But sadly, it was too late for Prince Tamil, who was fighting Salazar at this point, and was knocked out by Salazar. Prince Tamil, old friend with Ansem, So I'm just going to say this outright, and I would like to know your feelings about what happened. Go watch Catching Up with Adam in his episode of Catching Up with the Ragtag Bunch, because he details why he killed Prince Tamil. As Prince Tamil lay unconscious, Salazar took the sickle and his dagger, and the dagger that was laying on the floor, and took his head off. Seeing this, there is now, and in the latest episodes you've realised there is a rivalry, 100% rivalry between Ansem and Salazar.
There's no rivalry, it's hatred.
That's the word.
Hatred.
So go through this with me, please.
The canvas with the drops of ink. It was basically just watching Salazar do that, because I had failed a con save and I'd been paralysed.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do anything but watch. And that basically just dunked that canvas in black.
Mm-hmm.
So there is so much. It was so much hatred and like disgust just for everything at that point. But there was nothing I could do about it. I just had to sit there and watch.
Mm-hmm.
So then, afterwards, when the paralysis wore off, I gunned it straight for Salazar and did my inflict wounds at 2nd level.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the only spell slots I had left, because I'd spanked the 3rd spell level on healing Salazar the encounter before.
Yeah.
So I had slowly been becoming better friends with Salazar throughout the entire raid on Balthazar. For then just to have him almost betray the trust that I'd given to him, killing someone who helped me so much, and as this variant of Ansem, I become to that point of I care about my companions and friends. They're not tools, they're people.
Which is a huge character arc from Ansem. The thing that, again, if you rewind this video, the first thing you mentioned about Ansem was they're a person in front of me. They were a tool, a means to my escape.
Yeah.
And now, 20 sessions later, 25 sessions later,
now at the front line.
Ansem at the front line fighting next to him. Instead of next to a dwarf, you're next to a friend. Next to an elf, sorry. How about a friend? You've gone full Lord of the Rings with this. It's a beautiful relationship, I'm not going to lie. But this is the kind of thing I want to highlight, is that session kind of showed the raw kind of love you had for, let's say love, but your power of being with the party and also with Arlo as well. If you watch that episode where we were talking about Ansem coming back during our campfire jabbering sessions, which I'm sure we'll bring back at some point. It gets very late here at the Liches and Witches household. But one thing I asked Guy to say was, what brought Ansem kind of back, and it was you saying it was Arlo. Arlo was the one that was fighting with you, always side by side.
Yeah.
He looked out for you, and you in turn looked out for him. And it was showing that, and your rage coming through from Salazar, decapitating your friend, was, I'm not gonna lie, I look back on it and I get a bit stifled up. I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
The thing was, if I decided at that moment, because Salazar, I know he made a comment of going for the girl next, and at that point when I kind of twigged, wait, that's family to. No, he's if he does, if he kills Arlo's family, he's dead. He's beyond dead.
Arlo would have killed him. Yeah.
I was at that point. I was like, you've just killed one of my friends. I'm going to murder you. If you then gun for another one of my friends' family, I am going to ruin everything. I'm going to kill you, resurrect you, kill you, resurrect you.
Because you can do that as Pale Master. But obviously, for DMs out there, it is a scary moment when your party descends into PvP, because it's scary because it just gets out of hand. There's nothing you can do. They roll. It's like, oh my god, I can't stop this. But what I needed to remind myself, because I didn't expect the PvP. I'm very much, and if you watch my DMing, it is very much improvised, on the spot. I do prepare notes, I do prepare flows, and where I want events to trigger. It's more about triggering things than actually planning story points. But it's very much, they turn up on the day and they decide what they want to do, or they continue what they were doing. But they can literally change their mind, drop everything, which has happened several times. Literally, the Ragtag Bunch is them going, right, main campaign, sideline, and it goes off.
So when we first met Balthazar.
We
were gunning for the north.
That's how they met Balthazar.
You drop in like a little thing going, all his family's over here. And at that point I went, right now, we're going that way.
So obviously I have to take it as it comes. And with the PvP, I was sitting there going, hold on, I can't stop this. Obviously I did my own little thing playing Aoife, which was kind of her screaming for everyone to stop fighting. There had been enough bloodshed, which I felt, as her character, would do, because her own party have just lost two characters, Prince Tamil and Corvus Conrax, who was the ranger who was blinded in Riverford, who owned an eagle, which now belongs to Arlo. She was screaming at the party to tell them to stop fighting. Balthazar is still alive, and this is exactly what they wanted. Balthazar, the whole point of his Wonderland, which is based off the Adventure Zone's Suffering game, was suffering. Was suffering on a horrible, dark, in a dark way. And this, party PvP, was 10 times the amount of suffering I got out of Wonderland. I got sacrifices, I got pain, I got kind of creeped out bad nightmares. That was Wonderland. I wanted to show that he was doing a job in Wonderland. All the suffering was going anything, making him powerful. All the suffering he was causing in his catacombs was because he could. And that's why I let it happen. I was like, Balthazar is basically showing his last hand going, you are coming up to literally come and kill me. I have literally now ripped the carpet underneath you. And you may come and kill me, but the damage I've now done to you as a party and the suffering that's caused will last forever, unless they repair it. But that's why that's why I kind of did it. I wanted their last moment of thinking about Balthazar to be the strength of their party, of showing basically where the weak link was, and showing how fragile they actually were. And that's what Balthazar's job was, is to show they may be strong as hell. And this is what you guys are very tactical and you know how to work well with each other now, because you're level 7, between level 6 and 7 now. But Balthazar wanted to show you one better, which was you can only work well as a team if you get on. And he ripped the carpet underneath you. And that's one thing I really wanted to highlight with Ansem, because it affected you quite severely. The party went and killed Balthazar. They saw another arcane gate. They dealt with the demon. Balthazar's dead. They killed it. They destroyed his phylactery. You then got a ring that was given to you by Balthazar's bodyguard, Zir, of his heraldry, saying, look, we're going back to Vassalspell, the capital city.
You said Balthazar's bodyguard.
Did I say? Oh, Prince Tamil. Apologies, it's very late. Prince Tamil's bodyguard, Zir. So you were given a ring from Zir about, obviously, Prince Tamil's. He went, look, we're going back to Vassalspell, the capital city of the Gilded Caliphate, where Prince Tamil is a prince. Was a prince. And they're saying, look, we're going to bury him with his family. You've got the ring. If you ever come across any of our soldiers, if you ever come to Vassalspell, show the ring and you'll be given a hospitality of a prince, essentially. So you were given, and I wanted that. I wanted you to have a token of your friend. It only felt right. And Arlo got an eagle, so
So I'm like bringing it back to the whole PvP. So, as a general thumb, I don't like doing PvP unless it's 100% justified.
Yeah, same. 100% has to be justified.
So like,
that felt
oh, you stole
perfect.
like 10 gold from me, I'm going to cut you up. Like,
oh, that's not. No.
But like, if it's the whole, you just killed my friend, what the fuck?
And that's why, again, to DMs, a lot of you may not like PvP, and some of you may love it. But as we both agreed, we only like it if it's 100% justified and to the plot.
Yeah, it's also good if you're up front with it like at the start of the campaign, going like, is everyone okay with PvP?
Yeah. We kind of agreed. There's we said PvP in a sense of slapping each other around, like, oh, I slap them across the head. Oh, I deal 1d4 damage. Like, that silliness behind it.
There's been times when, like, Erebos has punched me and I've done a chill touch to him.
Yeah.
Admittedly, mine's more damaging, but, like...
It's Erebos, he's a tank.
Yeah. He can take it.
He can take it. But, yeah, so when it comes to PvP, be careful, because some players can get, obviously, upset with it. And I only do PvP in the sense of damage. If anyone falls, I don't allow that unless, it has to be 100% justified and pertaining to the story. If it's literally someone reacting badly to a situation, it might just be worth having a sit down and talking with the player. Anyway, that's just DM advice, not actually guys' storyline and Ansem storyline. So, moving out of Balthazar's Catacombs and moving back to Pilferreach for session 37, you did some help with Drogon to get somebody to talk using your Pal Master, but that's not really pertaining to your story as much.
It's not as much, but it's the fact that it's the whole, so when I was first playing Ansem, I don't know if you realise, but I was quite subtle with my necromancy.
Oh yeah.
But now I'm not.
You're quite open with it, which
I don't care, it's there.
And a lot of people have reacted badly to it. Like, the guards were very off-put by it, they didn't like it, but you were helping a crime scene, so like, alright, well, we're going to let this weirdo do a...
Talk dead.
Talk to the dead.
But it's one of those things. Imagine how handy this would be at every homicide.
Yeah, very, very true. What I want to kind of finish this session on, because obviously it's getting on for quite some time now. We're looking probably about 2 hours after editing. And thank you for obviously sticking around for 2 hours. Just disappearing halfway through. The last thing I want to finish on is the latest episode. We've just done 37. Which was entitled Back in Pilferreach. And we essentially started at Bran's kind of little outpost keep in Pilferreach. The party had previously been to it when they first went to meet Baraka, the head of the Order of Danir, and met Brand again before actually departing to go to Baraka's keep. So you met with Brand, you had a meal, they all caught up and basically discussed what the hell was going on with the Necromancer and things like that.
Not me, the other one.
Yeah, the other Necromancer. And the main thing that happened that session was your dream.
It was my dream and Erebos's dream.
So, Erebos dreamt of being in Felix's body, which wasn't 100% clear at first, but it becomes apparent. And they were kind of hunting the woods for something with a team of other paladins and soldiers. And then one by one, they were attacked by something, and then Felix was attacked. Then Erebos saw through the eyes of Morgrove, and then saw the character Mysterios, who was back again, hunting down another magic user. And the last thing he saw was the body of Felix impaled on a tree the exact same way that Mysterios was impaled in session 5. However, Ansem's one was his original, almost like his original birth story, in the sense of that he was a comet was going over the sky. Some mark the event as great joy with fertility and crops and things. A lot of people mention it as a kind of bad omen. However, Ansem was on a cliff outcrop, one that he had felt like he'd been to before, and he actually works it out later that it's the Giant's Throne. And this comet was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and making then a horrible noise, which turns out later in the episode is Dragon's Fire, and hits Ansem, and he wakes up in a cold sweat. So the party eventually decide to actually, instead of going south, to go and deal with and go and find Morgrove in the forest, find out what's happened, but also go past Giant's Throne, which is kind of close to each other anyway. And Ansem kind of puts things together, realises actually the moon position. Shit, he was supposed to be here. Today is the day. Tonight's the night. He just has to wait for the moon to be in position. Everyone falls asleep. Ansem falls asleep, and he wakes up with a searing pain in his hand, like if he was holding molten lava, and it was pointing to the cliff.
I don't think it was pointing anywhere, but I just kind of looked at the
you knew where to go.
Sorry, I just, two and two together, gun it.
That's what you're true. Yeah. So he closed his hand. He ran up to the cliff face. Ran up round it, all the way up, leaving Erebos at the campfire below, kind of perplexed.
It was a bit of... So I deliberately did it as it was a panic for him. Because I literally... Shock awake, pain, moon, shit, stuff's happening, I've got to do it now.
Yeah.
So I deliberately left my dust skeleton at the bottom, because I wasn't thinking about it.
So you ran up to the top, and at the kind of the cliff face of Giant's Throne, which is a large rocky outcrop that kind of projects 90 to 100 feet out of the ground, that then overlooks the road that's parallel to the Dragonsfoot River. Gambian Everspire was standing, waiting for him essentially, and he was coaxed there by yourself. Previously, about 10 episodes previous, where you said to Calcifer, bring him up north.
Well,
Tell him to come to me.
Fucking yeah. Yeah, because he's wanting I believe Calcifer said, well, he wants an update. Well, fucking come here then!
So he did. And Gambian was like, so, and he used my book, and you had a bit of an update with each other, and he went, look, obviously Calcifer's told me everything, you found out a lot of information, so let's get rid of the middleman. He summoned Calcifer and showed up that she was actually beaten and subdued, and she's kind of the shadow of what she was. And he goes, let's cut out the middleman. You're a stronger man than I thought. You've got a great future ahead of you, and you'll be powerful one day, and I think we should be allies. And offers his hand and went, look, work with me. We can survive this oncoming apocalypse. I know what's coming. You know what's coming. We can survive this. We need that book. Go get it for me.
So, I want to clarify the reason why I acted like I did was because...
Again, go watch it.
Was because of my new personality traits. So, I specified that I only remember 2 names, and both those names fill me with pure hatred. And it is putting the face to the name Gambian Everspire.
First time Ansem's seen him since he came back. So, first time that version 2 Ansem had seen Gambian Everspire.
So that was just and with how everything had gone so far, just all this rage and hatred building up, seeing that person, that just fills it even more. It's almost like, kind of God of War mode. You got a gun for it.
Yeah. So what happens is he kind of points down to the ground and went, look, I don't want to have to do this because, I want to survive through the apocalypse, and I need that book. I need the information it contains. So he points down to the cliff, kind of the cliff floor, and around the party are a load of figures. Ansem kind of makes them out, but not so. And goes, look, they're waiting for my command. Join me, or I'll kill them. And I think you tell him to go do one, and you activate your Grim Scythe and attack him. Is that right?
My Grim Scythe activated when I first saw him, and the wording was, I have faith in them.
Oh yeah.
And then I just went and gunned it for him. And I was so happy with that hit.
I loved it. It was great.
Because the hit I just rolled, it was like, that's 30 to hit.
Yeah.
That's 10 damage. That's like near enough maximum.
Cool, yeah. Just so you know, Gambian Everspire, if you have not watched the latest episode, please do, because this is a spoiler, essentially. So go watch it. Stop now. Have this on another tab, but stop it. Open up another tab. Go to our YouTube channel. Watch episode 37. If you've not watched episode anything beforehand, clear your entire schedule for the rest of tonight. Watch all our previous episodes.
They're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. So watch that episode 37 and basically go to close about an hour to the end, because you'll find out that 10 hit points is 5% of his hit points.
Yeah.
5%.
It's 5% in one hit. I mean, come on.
Anyway, so not even 5%. It's probably like 4.3, I think, to be honest. Anyway, Gambian Everspire shows his true form, and we was discussing this earlier in my kitchen, but we're going to repeat it for you because I like talking to my guys, because I like showing these big reveals and kind of hiding the truth in them, really, but not too much. So I asked Guy earlier, because from his reactions, what do you think Gambian Everspire is? Now, we haven't actually told the people yet what he is, and maybe that clue, they could probably work it out. So I've described Gambian Everspire as this tall, regal man, humanoid man, long, kind of blonde hair, kind of these grey streaks, kind of a fine Theoden-esque kind of beard. Best way of actually describing him, I think I said it in the stream, was with Tywin Lannister. It's almost like if I could make a film of this, Tywin Lannister, the guy who played Tywin Lannister, straight away. It's kind of that kind of persona, that personality, with a long kind of purple and golden robe. So can you give me your top 3, what you thought he was?
So it wasn't necessarily top 3, but it was like in my head what I was trying to like discern that he could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, okay, arcane energy, big arcane creatures tend to be like dragons. So dragons are an option. Alright, what dragons? So it could be a black dragon, it could be a Drakath in my head. So I don't know the proper rulings for these creatures, so I'm just going with mythical creatures that I know with rough alignment. So, chromatic dragons tend to be the evil ones. That includes the black dragons. Black dragons tend to be more because, they're seen as evil more. You got the Drakath, because, what I'd uncovered hinted towards him being in service to Orcus. I'm after his fool, because that could be literally a fool to serve Orcus. Bouncing off of that, he could have been an avatar of Orcus in my head, where it's a high powered demon. He could, or last one where Gambian himself is just a man that can live forever, but what makes him great is the items that he wears.
So I described him having a gold ring, a silver ring, and a bronze ring, but also like a necklace of 2 dragons. And a few other things as well.
So it could literally just, in my head, he could have been wearing stuff like that. That's because boosts his arcane power a lot. He can cast spells in all those at X level.
Yep. So the reveal, obviously pertaining to Ansem, is it's very simplistic as the creature, but the backstory of the creature and its kind of interactions with the story and the main antagonists is a bit more it's kind of complex, and obviously it gets shown through the episodes as we're kind of parting halfway now through the campaign. So obviously make sure you're staying tuned to that. He was revealed to be an ancient gold dragon. He had his rise of fighting the evil in the world, but fell, and he's been shown himself to be very angry at the world. So what's going through Ansem's mind now with Gambian as he shows his true form, immolates almost the entire party, knocking 3 down, including Dusty, No, excluding Dusty. 4 if you include Dusty. What is now going through Ansem as he came back and offered you his hand and you took it?
I took it, and I don't know if this is something that is going to be needed, but first thought is, I'm taking your hand, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably written all over my face.
I knew from the start you're going to kill him. But
yeah. It's just that I'm going to kill you. It's probably going to be at that point. From now onwards, I'm probably going to be playing Ansem a bit more brutal, in the sense of not as that uncaring, cocky, haha, in your face. You're just in meat. I'm just going to be dead. Move.
Yeah,
die.
You're basically going to try and make sure that you are the one, you are alive to go and kill Gamion.
Going to be more cold and calculated, as opposed to the whole, you're beneath me, bravado type thing.
That's fair. Cool. Okay, so that gets us up to the latest episode of Ragtag Bunch. That was session 37 that came out Monday just gone. Obviously, make sure you like our episodes, you comment on them. Obviously, we'd like to hear from you. Make sure you're also following our Twitch and like our Facebook as well. We do have a Facebook, and that's going to be below in the little commenty thing, info box. Is there anything that you want to leave the viewers with before I finish up?
Being a drow's hard. People judge you for what you look like, and they shouldn't.
Take that to heart. Take that to heart. So I'm going to leave it with this. And it's kind of for Guy and Ansem as well, and as it's just us. But it's also for the viewers to think about as well. If Ansem survives, he will be the one to kill Gamion. However, remember the woman that Ansem saw?
At what point?
The one that you called upon?
Oh shit, yeah.
Maybe she has plans.
Okay, so I don't know what Adam messaged you. I'm really hoping it's not the Spider Queen.
So you'll find out more in future episodes. Same with Guy. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching as well. And we'll see you next time. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.